Well, like the title suggests, I'm back after a long break of publishing any videos. And in this video, I just kind of want to talk to you guys about three things. One, why the big pause? Two, what I did to the Land Rover specifically during that long pause and publishing any videos. And three, what really brought me back. And I think all three things are important to say to you guys. And hopefully, moving forward with the videos, I'll be a little bit more consistent and be a little bit more entertaining and blase blase, but without going down a few rabbit holes and just keeping on track and talking about the first thing. Let's go ahead and get into a better position and talk about why I kind of stepped away from the Land Rover. Alrighty, guys. So why I kind of chose to be in front of the Land Rover is because I kind of want to show its true state as I talk about my Land Rover and why I stepped away from it. And if I were to put one word on it, it would be frustration. Uh, Frustration with myself, frustration with the fact that I'm working on something that's 20 something odd years old and is it bites back. You go to fix something and not the thing you were trying to fix, but something else that's attached to it breaks. And then you got to replace that part. Blase, blase. And I just want to talk about um, the the realistic uh, story of owning a project vehicle that a lot of I don't think YouTubers talk about because they just want to show the glam and glory of their beautiful rig. And though I think my rig is absolutely gorgeous in her stunning faded black. Okay, we're not going to use my land. We're not going to do self harm. But all that being said, um, I I'm frustrated because, for example, and I'll show you in the second part or the second thing I want to talk about, which is the parts I did while I was off camera. I did the brake lines on this, and I ended up chewing up a lot of things and really messing up a lot of things, and having to buy extra parts and fix a lot of things because I wasn't patient. I was frustrated. I was trying to get a video done and trying to do all this craziness and put all this unnecessary pressure on me. And essentially, what I think a lot of people do, which is think that this is a yard ornament right now, and it is. For a while there, I had a tarp on top of it because the roof was leaking in due to something that I did and or ignored for um, I guess a little bit more honesty. But I got frustrated, and this thing, I told my wife I wanted to sell it a million times, and my wife told me, "No, you love it. I could tell because I'm your wife, and I know you better than you do, and women are emotionally more intelligent than men." Okay, but let's bring it back to the first one. But guys, all that nonsense I do want to say is keep trying, calm down, take a break, revisit it. I wrote a goal of having this thing completely done by 2028. And I have 3 years, give or take, because I think there's an actual month and a date and a time on there. But let's just say I have 3 more years because it's 2025. I have a personal vehicle that I can drive back and forth. My wife does too. Guys, slow down. Don't get so frustrated. If it frustrates you, take a break. Don't don't let it consume you, and don't let it make you think it's winning or other people are winning, because this is a hobby. And though I will be the first guy to scream and shout and throw a pipe wrench or throw a socket or whatever, um, because the damn bolt won't come off or whatever, but when you get to that point, it needs to stop. Like as soon as you feel like you got to throw it, man, just stop, just drop it, and just walk away. I mean, if it's raining, you know, you got to go pick up your tools and stuff. But if not, just step away. Go get some water. Go go hug a dog and kiss a baby or whatever people do to, you know, make themselves feel better. But you just slow down and enjoy the hobby and don't get frustrated. So um, let's go on to the next part of the video where I talk about what I already mentioned, the brake lines, and talk about all the other things that I actually kind of did successfully and I'm kind of proud of. And I wish I did a video of, but in all honesty, I doubted my ability because, like I said, of all the other frustrating things that was going on. So let's move on to a different position and talk about all the things I got accomplished while I was taking my little break. Alrighty, guys. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I did the front bumper and the brake extended brake line video, and as I was recording, I didn't notice that I had been sitting in a position so perfectly that scientists consider it the second sun phenomenon. And if you don't know what the second sun phenomenon is, it's where the sun hit my came right back at the camera, and it just all you could see is just glare. I mean, it was impressive. I mean, embarrassing. I'm not posting it, but I mean, it was insane. And so I uh, brought it back here, and we're gonna do this video for a little bit back here and talk about the rear bumper while we hope the sun falls on the other side of the house and doesn't scare away the children. I mean, um, ruin my videos. But anyway, I got this bumper from Lucky 8. Not that they sponsor this video in any shape or form, but if you like this bumper and you like why I like it, we'll put a comment in the comment section below of a link of where I got it from. I think at the time it was around $600, $700. They were not a pair, so I bought the rear, and then it was another $600 or $700 for the front. And these numbers are from years ago, and my memory is as good as a goldfish. So these numbers might not even be true, and I might either be inflating or deflating it. So don't go on there and say, oh, man, you got a deal, or man, you got screwed. I honestly don't remember, and we're just going to be okay with that. You're going to be okay with it. I'm okay with it because I said it, but you're going to be okay with it. So anyway, on these, but on this bumper, the stock tail lights fit in like exact as the ones did for the stock bumper. I mean, it clicked right in. As long as those tail lights are good and the little snap pins or anything like that aren't damaged, and you removed it successfully, and you can reinstall it really easily. I love that. I didn't really want to replace them. I kind of want to beef up the Land Rover, but I don't want to take away from all of its styling and kind of oldness. You know, I like the fact that these aren't LED and these are old school halogens and stuff like that. But that's a personal preference. So you can also get these in LED. I've seen them on Amazon and on certain websites and stuff like that. So if you wanted to upgrade them but still keep them stock and let them fit into this bumper, you can. Uh, but not what I'm going to do. The next thing I like about this is that the bumper can be secured to the vehicle with only 4 bolts. I say that because I don't know if I would personally trust only 4 bolts being on this and hooking up to this and yanking on it. I would maybe do more bolts or maybe weld it in some places. And if you have this bumper and you've done those things or you've or done something different, please in the comments section below, post what you did to help all of us, including myself, because I'm not the subject matter expert in anything. I said that weird. I'm not the subject matter expert. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted about this big wasp right here. But anyway, so the man, I'm sorry. I'm really distracted because I'm afraid this wasp is going to do something. You guys probably can't see it, but I was going to bring you over here to show you where the four bolts were after I was done talking about putting comments down below about how you did it. But anyway, yeah, let's learn all from each other, and let's also see if that wasp left so that we can look underneath the vehicle and show you those four bolts. Guys, so the four bolts are two of them, one being here and the other one being a little bit further down. Let me see if I can get over there, show you. That one right there. And then there's two bolts. One right there. And then on the other side of the vehicle, ignore that. That wasn't me hitting my knee on the hitch. And then the other one, give me a second. I'm unable to find it because I am. Oh, did I find it? Nope. I'm never going to find it this rate. There it goes, right there. That's the other bolt. Okay. So those are the four bolts. Believe me, just looking good. Oh, man. A little bit of snort there. Watch out. Yes, I did hang that in my beard. I did also in the first part of the video too. I don't know if you noticed that also. But so there's four bolts. The stock lights get in secure or secure in properly and easily. Uh, you know, I like it because of the actual look of it. They all come in black, of course. And I will say that when you are using this bumper, not really using the bumper, but if you are installing this or haven't installed this bumper yet, make sure you kind of look over it and make sure that the paint is to your standard and that you haven't had any chips or cuts or I don't know, just random scuff marks and stuff like that, because it is steel and it will immediately rust. And not that surface rust is all the terrible um, no, I shouldn't say that, but not that rust is going to end the bumper's life, but you definitely don't want to put on a brand new bumper and it's already got rust marks by the first week, which mine does. This is not the first week, but I did notice it after 1 week of installing it, and I might take them off and repaint them and stuff like that. But as of now, we're gonna rock it because, as you can see, I don't even wheels on this thing, so the fact that I'm worrying about a bumper is kind of ass backwards. But anyway, let's see if the sun will leave me alone, and we can do the front part and do the brake lines. So let's go over there. Alrighty, guys. So you could tell from the massive glare down there that the sun is not giving me a break. So we're gonna do this with my phone. So if the video and the audio are a little bit different or worse, I apologize. But we're just gonna do it this way and keep moving forward. As you can tell, if you have any sort of trained eye, that I did a hell of a job on this thing, man. I'll tell you what. Look at them things aren't even connected to that thing, and this thing's all bent up and boy, all rusty, and woo, boy, that was inappropriate. But all of this happened because I was not patient and I was not going to let this thing win. It did win. It got me frustrated. It made me do more harm than good in certain aspects. But what I want to tell you is if that and that and that don't want to come out, go to the top, and you can see that these go all the way up. Oh, we go all the way up there. Ooh, that nail is dirty. But there is an ABS module that I will show you here in a second that you can disconnect it from up there and pull the lines down and out, or at least pull them down enough to where you can maybe work on them down here compared to working on them back in there. Uh, there's videos of everybody telling each other to pull this out and stuff like that. Um, if you can get the clips and get this to feed out, because these are supposed to sit inside here, if you can get these to clear out and just a little bit, and you can actually grab, both sides of it and use the proper tools and all that mess, it'll make your life so much easier. So learn from my mistake. Don't bend and get all frustrated. Breathe, think through it, and let's go ahead and show you guys the ABS module I was talking about, and then we'll come back down here and talk about the actual parts that you get with this kit. Alrighty, so this is the ABS module that I was talking about. As you can tell, it comes with this line, and this line. And the reason why I say you can tell is because look at the color. I didn't really replace that one. The ABS down line, which I will also post a picture of in the comment section below. I can't remember where I got it from, but I can at least show you where one's at. If you screw these out, all three of these, you can essentially feed this back down and then pull those other lines through and give yourself a little bit more room. A lot of people say don't disconnect up here because you're going to have a hell of a time bleeding it out. But let me tell you, bleeding out breaks is so much easier than bending and destroying down below. Okay. And if you have a hard time bleeding your brakes, you just keep going, just keep getting at it, and eventually it'll be okay, and you will not do the same stupid stuff I did. So let's go back down below and talk about the stuff you get in the kit. Alrighty. So with this kit, you get these extended brake lines that go from the supply to the caliper, and then that's not that. I mean, that is part of the caliper, but that's not specifically a caliper. This thing's the caliper. This whole thing. See, look, it connects down there. But anyway, then these two. These are not technically any longer, but if you're doing this brake line or any brake lines, you should do all the brake lines. There's no point. So they know that, and that's why they included these two. Outside of each one going from the supply to the caliper, and then these two, there's no other soft lines. Everything else is hard line. So they give you all those. I'm not going to show you each brake line on each wheel, or I should say on each caliper, because you can just imagine this essentially times three. But they're all the other ones going from the supply to the caliper on all the other wheels, I should say, are a lot easier to do than this one because of all this mess. So do yourself a favor, do the other three first, and then come here to tackle this monster. See what the other brake lines conditions are in, see how hard it is to get them off. Maybe you need to spray a little bit, maybe you do this, that, and the fourth to get them prepared to be removed. But do all that on the easier ones first, and then come over here and tackle this monster. And if I didn't mention it before, this is the front driver side, and there is really not much to talk about it. It's kind of like the rear bumper. There are some things I like about it. This is secured with a few bolts, which I'll go over, and it has a few features that the rear one doesn't. But some of them you can already kind of tell, like the shackles there and there. And then there is an opening you can see right there for the winch. Now, they already have these holes in, but what you might not see on mine, which you'll see on yours before you install it, is there's a bar that goes from here. I shouldn't say a bar, but a beam that goes from here to here. I had to cut these, and you will have to cut these, not because to install the bumper, but if you're going to put a winch here, this bar would be in the way. I just got a Sawzall and I cut, but realized that I might have to cut more because if you can tell, it's not flush. Now, that might not matter because this winch might not need all this space, but if it does, I will cut more. But I'm not going to cut past what I need. Like, you don't want to remove all of this. You don't want to remove all of these supports. These supports are necessary, but they don't aren't as necessary now because of the bumper. We can take away this horizontal structural support because we have this sturdier bumper essentially. Outside of that being cut, there's really no other cuts that need to be made. You got a bolt here, a bolt here, a bolt there, that bolt too, and then and you can't see from this side. Oop, get my pinky out of the way. You can't see from this side, but back there's another one, and I'll show you underneath here shortly. But as we go down here, you will see you have another one here. You have this one. And one thing I want to comment on is be careful because you might hit your radiator. Give me a second, let me focus this in. You might hit your radiator. So be careful with that one. Make sure you put your spacers in and all that stuff and do that properly. I'm going to come back and correct this, but I just wanted to point it out for education purposes. I will admit that I did not do this on purpose for education purposes, but as I was doing it, I realized I did it and told myself I will circle back and solve it. But either way, be careful of that. You have them on the other side too, and this is that rust I was talking about. Not that anybody sees the bottom of the Land Rover, but it does bother me some. Uh, and then over here, of course, too, and to get a better angle on the other side, that's it. And you can see where I kind of use old and new hardware. Um, I will tell you that I saved those other bolts for something else, and the existing bolts were the exact same size, so I wasn't really concerned about it. So, the final thing that I want to comment on is that, as you can see, all these wiring and hoses and stuff, that the not only the front spotlight that kind of sits on the original bumper here, but the well, I shouldn't say spotlight, but the fog lights, but also the windshield wiper reservoir would be sitting here. I removed it and am going to be relocating it to a different position. But as of now, I removed it because I didn't want the reservoir sticking. I mean, it pretty much stops here. So if you can tell from my arm how it is, maybe 4 inches of um, space lost from this high clearance bumper because now I got this big old reservoir hanging down, boy. But anyway, so those are the things I want to comment about the bumpers. So let's go inside the Land Rover and show you what I've done on the inside. Alrighty. So you could tell that all the plastic from like essentially like torso up is gone. The headliner board's gone. The sunroofs are in, but that's because that's what I repaired. Um, I haven't done the headliner board. I am going to do a video on that, But I do want to talk about in this video what I've already done, which is the sunroofs. Originally, the problem was these plastic drain plugs. They have a little nipple that sticks out that this hose slides onto. It snapped so that the drain plug was just flopping, and that any water that came in here would just dump onto the headliner board and then kind of roll to the front. So, guys, there are a few things that can cause your headliner board to leak, or not your headliner board to leak, but your headliner board to appear wet. It's one being this is leaking, or the sunroof in general is leaking. The second thing could be that inside of here there is a pieces of sheet metal that essentially this is a connecting corner. You can kind of see that little tannish brown thing in the background back there. That little thing is a sealant that keeps the sunroof and any points, because I use that same whatever sealant on multiple parts of the vehicle. But if you see that, that is essentially a place where a leak can happen. My leak did happen both in the sunroof and on this gutter right here. And you can see I've kind of done a shoddy job of filling that up, but we're not winning any beauty competitions. We're trying to make the roof not leak at the time. Maybe we'll revisit this and do it the proper way. But those are some positions that it can leak. So those are what caused me to buy a new headliner board and have to go through all this mumbo jumbo. But the other thing is after I got this fixed and got all of this on and the glass back in and the motor, all that mess, I was almost done, and I over tightened a few of these because I was in a rush and I was using too high of a torque um, impact, and I essentially snapped it. I will go over there real quickly and show you what I snapped on the actual sunroof glass. But before I go over there, I just want you to know to be patient with these. Don't try to do these with power tools, but just set it on the lowest setting. And if your lowest setting is like 100 pounds of foot torque, that's too much. You need like something smaller, like a half inch, or not half inch, like a quarter-inch drive or something like that, where it's only going to do maybe uh 50 pounds of torque at max, or just do it by hand. Either way, don't rush it. Don't try to like tighten it as tight as you can. It just needs to create a seal. It doesn't need to literally be pulled together. So this is what your sunroof looks like if it was sitting on top of your roof, and this is like looking down on it. Okay, so around this little lip is essentially where the sunroof touches the top of the roof. I'm telling you that because when you go to install this or uninstall it, you have to make sure that you clean this surface area. And I'm going to flip it over so you can see what I'm talking about. And the surface area of the roof itself, so that you can essentially apply another gasket and or sealant that can keep the water out. If the water leaks in from here, it's in a good amount of times it will bypass the catch pan that sits underneath it where the drain plugs were, that little metal part I was pointing to a lot earlier in the video. It'll bypass that and it'll just fall right onto the sunroof, or not the sunroof, the headliner board. So make sure that you are making another gasket and or sealing this. And this is what I'm talking about. You see all that? That needs to be stripped, and you need to reapply a type of gasket maker or some type of sealant. I didn't place it on here. I placed it on the metal itself, and then I laid this on there and then tightened it doing a star pattern, like starting here and then moving over here, and essentially trying to create a proper level pressure that evens that's distributed evenly. What ended up happening as I was making the sunroof complete and tightening everything up, like I said, I tightened portions too tight. This right there is what it's supposed to look like, and you can see it's completely missing. You just need to make sure that you realize that this is right here, this is plastic, and that is 20-year-old plastic that's been sitting in the sun and getting beat to death like my forehead. So make sure that you realize that you need to be gentle with this and be patient. It is old equipment, so treat it that way. The reason why I kept this outside of the fact that, I need to do a video about it, is if I disconnect here, there, same thing on the other side, I now have this glass. So if I ever have a hailstorm or anything like that, I can just replace the glass. And if you look, you will, this will be blocked by the catch pan, but if you remove that catch pan ever so gingerly and you don't move this piece at all, not I shouldn't say this piece, but the essentially plastic piece that is on that seal, you can remove the glass and not have any problems. Okay? So if you do the same thing, or if you come across and the one you have is all broken and stuff like that, make sure you keep the glass, get a new one, and you will never have to worry about another hailstorm again, because I have been beating this thing around, honestly, flipping it over and doing all this stuff, and it's actually in good shape and pretty sturdy. I was about to go bink, 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 but you don't need me to bink, bink, bink on it if you know how glass works. So, that being said, those are the sunroofs. That is the bumpers. That is the extended brake lines. And you are all caught up with where I'm at in the Land Rover. Now, let's talk about why I came back. I think what I'm about to say is going to have intentional life lessons, because, like this channel was all about, is I want you to learn from my mistakes. And one of those mistakes was forgetting why I'm doing this. And what I mean by that is I started this channel to teach people and to help with my public speaking, I guess you would say, or my confidence in talking to the general public, because of previous positions and positions that I'm both in and going into, which I don't want to toot my own horn, but hopefully by the time I post this video, my promotion will be official at my job. So any of my coworkers who watch this, I hope this news lands on your ears well, for lack of normal term and the usage of fancy terms. But anyway, I know that ever since I did this channel that I need to work on my talking and public speaking and all these different things, and even making eye contact, because sometimes I'm looking away, and when I look away from you guys, I'm just feel like it's too much eye contact. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out, but that's part of the why the channel's here. But the other part, which is kind of what the life lesson's going to be attached to, is I did this because I wanted to teach people. And as I stepped away from the camera and was doing research on the bumpers and the headliner board and the sunroofs and the brake lines and all this stuff, there wasn't a lot of information out about it. And as I was getting more and more frustrated with because I wasn't getting a clear answer, or people, you would post something and then someone would say, "Do it this way," and then the next guy would be like, "No, that guy's an idiot. Do it this way," and then next guy would be like, "Those two guys are idiots. Do it this way," and it was just constant. Um, no, I don't want to say misinformation because someone's right, but no clarity on what the true answer is, and that's what this channel was supposed to provide you guys. Um, and I had a comment on one of my videos, essentially encouraging me, but they didn't do it to encourage me, but it did. It did encourage me to come back to the channel, which is on. I want to say it was my um, inline thermostat and changing all that mess video. Someone posted finally a video that kind of shows us the right things to do, or I can't remember how it was exactly worded, but essentially saying, hey, you showed me something and it saved so much time and I learned so much, thank you. And guess what, guys, um that's all this channel was about. Even if I helped one person get one portion of their Land Rover, or I mean, sometimes certain things apply to different vehicles, but in our case, it's a Land Rover. I got one person to have an easier life, and you know what? That. It was all I needed to remind myself that you're doing this to help others, and you picked a very specific yeah, niche, very specific niche, which is off-roading learning channel. Like, first of all, off-roading isn't even that big, so you're already kind of falling down a little bit there. And then I didn't even pick a very popular Land Rovering vehicle, off-roading vehicle. I picked a Discovery 2 Land Rover. I mean, there's not a lot of us out there, and mostly because it's hard to keep them on the road. But you know, lessons learned. I'll pick another vehicle next time. Probably not. I'm gonna be sticking with this, guys. I love it, and even if it continues to break down on me every step of the way, I'm just going to enjoy the journey. I'm going to enjoy the journey of fighting this thing, and it won't win because I'm not going to let it win, and I'm not going to let it beat me in my emotions, in my frustrations, in my time. I'm going to conquer this because not only is conquering the Land Rover, it's also not only am I conquering the Land Rover, I'm conquering my patience and conquering my conquering my emotions and how I'm controlling them, which is a probably another reason why I should be doing this channel. To be honest, is to conquer my emotions and applying them properly and having all of them and not hiding from them and blase. But anyway, um, yeah, I mean, I helped one person, and it's a niche channel that is not really designed to get mass, viewers and mass subscribers. So if I only help that one gentleman on that video, and I go the rest of my years doing this, or days, or I don't know. I mean, I might give up on it, but I need to give up on it for a good reason, not because I get frustrated, you know. But I need to keep pushing on, and like I said, if it only helps one person, then that's that's great because I did one thing, and as I'm doing this journey of this YouTube channel, I'm going to be uh, helping my public speaking and helping with my uh, verbal communication, because I do stumble on my words, and I say weird stuff that doesn't make sense, and when I watch it back in videos, I see, oh wow, what the heck was I talking about? So guys, I appreciate your time. If you watched this whole video and saw all the mess that
I said, put a comment down because I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing how long I was able to keep everybody's attention. And I hope that if you come across this video and you're a new viewer and you're not a subscriber, that you go check out the other videos and see if my whole new vibe versus my old vibe and or my old videos versus this video is getting better or worse or whatever, and make a judgment call. And if you think I'm doing great and you're excited to see the future stuff, subscribe, because I don't want subscribers unless you want to be notified of my next video. Don't no pity subscribers. Do the right thing. If I'm helping you and this is interesting, subscribe.